think first we should acknowledge the efforts of Co-Draft in organizing this event. I think it is obvious that there are many of us that think that this is something that is serious enough, that requires possibly introspection and discussion. I think it would be fair to say that, at least from the time that I completed my legal studies, that we all looked at law college as a place where you went and got a degree so that you could then pursue your passion, and your actual learning started only after you graduated from law school. And I think many of us were lucky enough to have good seniors who really put in a lot of effort to train lawyers. I think Mr. Natarajan, Mr. Habibullah Badshah, Mr. Gandhi, from each of these offices, Mr. Govind Swaminathan, you'd find hundreds of lawyers coming. Now what happens there is that it's a system that works, but only a few are lucky enough to actually come through that system. And I think it's also fair to say that today we're already in a system where the legal education has improved. But the question is, has it improved enough? And in what areas can we actually work? One of the areas I think that we take for granted, just as we took when we were studying law, is that you expect a judge to go through legal education, be a lawyer, and then automatically once he's elevated either from the bar or after he does an exam, that he automatically has the skills to be a judge. I think while Indian jurisprudence is recognized in many, many countries, decisions of our courts are actually relied upon, it may not be correct to say that competence is across the board. So the question is, how do we really do those things that are necessary to equip the judiciary, possibly, for example, the lower judiciary, which would reduce the work at the stage of the High Court as well as the Supreme Court. And I think we have two exceptional judges who, without any training, have managed to be very good judges. And I'm sure if you ask them, they will tell you some of the problems are that today all pleadings are extremely verbose. Cases invariably come with typesets of 600 pages, 800 pages. Judges have to go through that, filter out the grain from the chaff, figure out where the issues are. Sometimes the judges have to figure out how to solve problems that are otherwise not really problems of the judiciary. The judiciary is seen as a savior. If anybody has a problem, you file a petition in court and expect the court to find the solution for you. So the question is, how does somebody who, let's say, starts off his legal education aiming to be a judge, how does he acquire these skills? Does our legal education system have enough for this? Mr. ARVIND DATAR I think, has appeared in almost every matter where the question of a constitution of a tribunal has been challenged, and has correctly highlighted the issues that are faced. In order to reduce the workload of courts, tribunals have been created. But the question is whether the constitution of the tribunal has sufficient legal knowledge in order to do justice. Because when we delegate this function to a tribunal, the question is whether the tribunal members who may come from a technical background will have the requisite knowledge to be able to dispense justice. I think these are some of the issues that we can talk about. What I suggest is that I would give, I think, each of the speakers a chance to speak, and then we can go to a round of questions. If I may start with Justice Sivagnanan.